Hi, I'm Pawel, I make games, and I'm gonna show you how to use a sprite animator we've created in this tutorial. The link to the whole playlist is in the description and in the top right corner, to create an advanced animation involving 2 or more game objects. Alright, so once again, the player goes to the big man, she puts a plant in front of him, he tries to kick it, but instead he gets bitten and we get his bottle. To make it simpler, we're gonna spawn the plant and play its one big animation with growing and biting the big man and then disappearing, and at the same time we're gonna start a kicking animation in the big man. Of course we can do it with one big sprite animation, but that way we need to add more frames to our sprite sheet. The other way to achieve this is to modify our code a little bit and play those animations one by one. In the success header we will copy this line and quickly create a new array of game objects to set active. As you remember, in Sprite Animator we start with playing base animation, so if we start with this plant disabled and then we set it active, we will play this start animation, but it will be played only once. So if we set it inactive and active again, nothing will happen, because start function happens only once. Alright, and because we have a new array of game objects, we need to copy this for each loop. It's inside the click manager, inside update scene after action coroutine. And we need to replace objects to remove to objects to set active. And instead of destroying them, we will set them active. Until now we only picked up things without any animations, we just destroyed the item we picked up and added to our inventory. But now we need to play an animation and stop incoming players' actions until it's done. To do this, let's go to item data and inside the success header we will need a new public animation data. And let's name it success animation. We can store there the big man's kick animation and use it instead of idle. Go to update scene after action inside the click manager and copy this line and paste it inside this if statement, but instead the player now we will use item. Alright, that's fine, and instead of null we will use item.success animation. And just to protect ourselves we will check if our item has anything to play. So we need to check if we have item.success animation. Click on this big man and let's go to his sprite renderer and change his sprite to this one. And as it comes to the big plant, I'm sure we need to see it, then we need to change its sprite and move it to the place where it bites the big guy. Alright, and as we got it, we may set it inactive again and set the big man's sprite to his idle sprite again. And it's time to create a new scriptable object animation data. This one will be big man kick. And we need another one for our big plant, so let's just name it big plant. Now back to big man kick. Here we need 60 frames of gap, so we will get 1 frame per second or so. And about the sprites, we need to open our sprite sheet first. At first he just stands, then he looks down, and after that he prepares for kicking, and that's this sprite. Finally he kicks something, but he realizes that he got bitten, so he looks down again. Oh, and eventually he disappears, so let's use this little sprite to show it better. And we need one more sprite to make him totally invisible, but this one will be just none, so we increase the size of this array and remove the last sprite. That's the whole animation. And as it comes to the big plant animation, we need to match it to big man's animation. And to do this, let's go with 2 times less frames of gap. So for every big man's frame we will have 2 frames there, so let's use 2 times more frames than in big man's animation. We will skip the frame at the end with this little icon, and we don't need 2 empty frames, so we will get less of them for the plant. We will start with number 14, where this plant is small, then with 15 it grows, then we use, no, not 16, we use 17 to make it grow even bigger, then it opens its mouth and waits like that for a few frames. It will be element number 3, 4, 5 and 6, and at 7 it closes its mouth. Then it just swaps frames 17 and 18, so it dances a little bit and then disappears. Then we use just none. Alright, now let's go to the big man, and in its item data we use this big man kick as a success animation. And in the big plant we use big plant as base animation. It will play automatically after the plant is set active for the first time. Now to test it quickly, let's change required item ID of big man and let's click him. Okay, we get this plant, he kicks it, it's good, and they disappear. Alright, it was quite chaotic, but we got another element in our game. If you understood everything at the first try perfectly, I'm quite surprised. In the next episode we are going to improve our animations even more. For now, have a good day and see you soon!